To me.
This one goes out to the one I love, a.k.a. me.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Season 1, Episode 2. They were smart to pace a little action at the end. I think they're going to squeeze a little bit of that into every ep. Is that why we got the dance in Episode 1?
You're saying that the show's creator have decided to put action in every ep?
Yep. I think they
Interesting. Yeah.
have taken the eps and they've... I mean, there is a little bit more once the tournament begins, as it did in this ep. We're going to get a little more action for sure. As we mentioned, it was a short ep. Not a short member, though.
Sorry, what are you referring to?
I am
specifically?
referring to Arlen of Pennytree's sword as given to him by the Lord our Savior.
Okay, his dong. Question his dong.
Yes.
Did you, and I'm asking this question both from a narrative perspective and a personal enjoyment perspective, did you prefer his dong or Sir Duncan diarrheaing in episode 1? 2 answers.
We got a booty butt in episode 1, a booty butt pooping. We got
and then a dong
giant
peeing.
hog, and then Sir Arlen's booty butt moments later.
Narratively and personally, which did you prefer?
Probably the dong.
Show your work.
I appreciate both elements because they take you off guard. I am at age 42 on this planet Earth, and I still can't find nothing funnier than male nudity in a TV or movie setting, especially when it's just out of place. Because it always seems out of place. Like outside of pornography, it's always a little bit of a surprise when you see a naked peen.
I can't think of a more surprising place for that peen to be the first scene that you see.
Oh yeah, it just jumped right out there. The last peen I was surprised by was on the chair company. Because he was watching the what is it? Scrooge? What's the Christmas Christmas Carol?
Yeah.
He's watching that because his quote unquote son was performing in it, and he goes back. Oh no, it's the friend that they meet in the bar was performing in a local theater, and so he's back at home watching Scrooge, and then you realize it's a porn. Anyways, that's the last peen I was surprised by, and I was on an airplane while I was watching it, which made it extra surprising because I was like, okay, end of the ep. No, I mean both were fun because they both throw in this left field a piece of fantasy that everything's kind of beautiful, and then they don't really show you there's no toilet paper and no real indoor plumbing, not a whole lot of bathing going on.
Well, kind of depends on the character, because I don't know that you can say that for the Ents.
Oh, they don't need it.
We don't know which branch was their hog.
That's true.
But we definitely saw
we probably saw some
dong for sure.
But that's going to bring up the whole question: do Ents have sexual organs, and is that how they reproduce?
Everybody's got sexual organs.
Is this a book you're writing for your kids? A kid's book? Everyone's got.
This is my science corner. Yeah.
Everyone's got sexual organs.
Got
Everybody's
sexual
got
organs.
them.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Okay, so moving on from the hog, which again you did bring up. Why pee so close to the front door? Which is a good question.
I do think we got that answer in canon. It's not his house. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's an Airbnb.
Yeah.
He just dropped by. He doesn't have a
He
home.
does
he
not
does not care. He's done. That's his last day there. He's moving on to a different tree that he's gonna sleep under.
Right. We see a little bit of him hanging out. He does seem very sick, very drunk, very.
He's on his way out. We're seeing his last days.
I would call it unfocused.
He's got some nasty wounds. He seems to be slipping into senility. He probably is not dealing with being out in the cold too often because they end up sleeping under trees in the rain.
Yep.
And that does not do well for an older body, let alone human bodies in general.
I kind of liked how and this is fresh off of watching this, so we haven't had some time
We literally just watched it.
digest. But I enjoyed how that first scene mirrors the last scene of him and Egg reflecting on his life. So
Yeah.
we see that life. We see what he's talking about there at the last scene where he sits down and says, he may not have been such a great knight. He might not have been so talented.
It's interesting to me because this episode in a way was like the don't meet your heroes, right? In that we have these good, we have a couple of the Targaryens that play the different sides where some of them are absolute assholes and some are like the men of honor and some of them are just like disgruntled kings. But he keeps meeting these knights, and these knights are supposed to be this thing of honor and these things of they're supposed to hold themselves above everything, but they seem to be just another piece of the rabble rousing. And I think he's finding it very disappointing. He's obviously had this dream that he wants to be a knight, and he wants to serve a great house, but he's finding that all these knights didn't think anything of his master, who gave pretty much every piece of himself to service as a hedge knight, and his reward was dying on the side of a muddy road.
So he's disillusioned at what?
I think he's disillusioned by knighthood, period.
That was not my read.
Well, I think he's still holding on to it, because I think he's met some good ones, and B, he wants to show what a good knight is.
I think he's disillusioned with his old boss, because he finds out that nobody remembers him, and he's thinking back to, and that's what I'm taking that first scene to be, him, because everything is from Duncan the Tall's perspective, pretty much. So I'm taking the first scene of his hog and him wandering around loopy as hell as his recollection of him. So he's taking into account that. He's taking into account his stats. He looked at the back of the baseball card and saw his one-loss record. He's talking to all these people that don't remember him at all. And he gets to the end of the episode and he says, hold on, maybe this guy that I have idolized, that has trained me, that has brought me up, didn't really amount to anything. And then at the end of the episode, I was kind of wondering where they were going to go with it, if it was going to be a thing where that gives him that makes him very nervous and not confident because he was brought up by a guy that doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, or was that going to go the other way and say more of a motivational type of thing? And I think it was the latter, with the way that he really dug into the chicken very purposefully. I thought he's getting ready to show everybody what metal he's made of, despite learning where he comes from
I don't
knighthood
think it's
perspective.
I don't think it's a despite his training or his being raised by Pennytree. I think I agree with you that he is, some of the facade of following this knight has cracked, right? But I don't think he's looking at his training and his time with him in a negative light. I think he's looking at it in a way of he's seen how different his growing up was, and how different Arlen and Pennytree's growing up was, and how no matter how good of a knight he was, he would never have had any sort of fame, and he didn't have any opportunity whatsoever to be said champion. And I think there is some doubt in there with him to be if I came from here, what advantage do I have that could possibly lead me to any sort of glory?
Well, he said specifically he wasn't gifted. I think Sir Duncan is still thinking about this as a talent issue rather than an opportunity issue.
I say that, I mean, I somewhat agree, but I feel like watching that fight that happens, the beginning joust, the group joust, I think he's seen the horses, and he's seen the armor, and he's seen the spectacle, and he's seen the different assistants that they have. What can I think? The squires and how they're operating. And you'll see even Egg for a second there. I think he's mimicking how to hold a joust and realizing he might be too small to even hand a joust to Dunk. So that will be an interesting one to see what he was doing. But he kind of freaked out for a second. He was kind of mimicking like how he would hold up this giant joust that's 4 times the size of that he is, and probably and run around and not get ran over by a horse. And obviously he's not going to be involved in any group jousts, I don't believe, if I remember the book correctly, but still there's a lot of that going on. So I do think there's some pieces of that. Like, I do think he is absolutely realizing that, like, he was not the most skilled knight, but I think he's also firm in his belief that he was raised to be a good knight, and that there is value in the way that Sir Arlen of Pennytree raised him, if that makes sense.
Well, and he's also just invested all of his stuff into this. He's
sold his knight's horse. He has 2 other horses, but they are not steeds, if you will. And so he sold.
Did he
knight.
sell the steed, or was it kind of like a pawnbroker type of situation?
I think it's a pawnbroker situation.
Yeah,
but
that was my read.
It's a you gave me money, I'm hoping I can give you the money back.
Right.
But it's not like he has not ransomed them.
Yeah.
Like he's going to ransom his armor when he goes into battle.
So he's spent his money. He's given up a bunch of other armor from his old.
He gave Pennytree's armor away that he is incapable of wearing because he is
very big,
33% larger than his previous.
So that's also part of it, is that he's having this little crisis of.
There's no going back,
doubt,
as he says,
as he is this tourney. And yeah, I think watching the initial tournament and watching some of the guys fall over and almost get stomped on by the horses, it's becoming a little bit more real that one, he could obviously have be easily injured, but also he's just given all of his earthly possessions to what's going to be the next couple of days.
Also, I mean, one of the things we witnessed during that fight was one of the knights that got knocked down got back on his horse, picked up his shield from the side of his horse, and did some things I assume Dunk has not been trained to do. And this was one of the early victors, if you will. So I think he's definitely seen some, like, I haven't been trained to even do this thing.
Yeah.
And I do, I think the line that best sums it up in this ep is from the armor. From the blacksmith, who, when he tells him, I aim to be a champion, the blacksmith goes, and I assume everybody else here is just to watch you, like they're just here to cheer you on.
I think that was a line from the
It's directly
novella.
from the book. Yeah.
I haven't read it in a long time, but a lot of the dialogue here I thought
quite a few
seemed extremely familiar.
This episode is floats on its dialogue, because the first 20 minutes, the first 25 minutes of the 34-minute episode is just him walking around, and is all completely floated completely on the dialogue that happens in the episode. There is no spectacle that holds it along. There's no.
I sort of disagree because of the physical comedy that Duncan and Egg are doing.
Just that one of them's large and one of them's small.
No, just he's always in the wrong spots at the wrong time.
But I think that's I think that's all based on their interactions. And yes, there's more than like just the words. And I don't mean the writing, but I mean the delivery of all the dialogue that's happening between them. Like, but a ton of it comes directly from the book. Like talking about, you know, when he goes to battle, does he ride his horse? Does his horse ride him? The most clever line, which I don't remember specifically from the book, was, sorry, he doesn't look up much to look down, which was a pretty ingenious line, but I assume it's probably from the book as well. But the dialogue in this, and yes, the comedy of Duncan being awkward as hell and Egg trying to pick up for him, but also being awkward in his own right is very good. But I think that's like that's anchored by the dialogue, and then it's their delivery makes it everything.
I was reading something that they cast Duncan based partly on the actor's hesitancy, lack of confidence in doing the role as well, and then that fed into the character, which I thought was an interesting casting note. And he's doing a remarkable job. So is Egg. They're both fantastic. I want to highlight when they're leaving, talking to the Targaryen.
Yeah,
you know that he is going to mistake the way that he is going, right? You know he's going to look left and have to go right or something like that. The best part about this is that he first goes straight.
Yeah.
Well, then he goes left. Then he has to double back to right. He goes through every
I love when he does
single
the
direction.
He does that. This is where I'm going. But the funniest part is I don't even know if that's the right way, because he didn't wander in there the normal way. He wandered through kind of a back alley. So he's like, I can't go back the weird way that I went. The interactions he has with some of the people in this, the princess who like makes him flinch at one point, like by far though, the best moment was when they're sitting on the bench and Egg looks super tiny, sitting on the table while Dunk is sitting on the chair, and Egg is saying, do you think I'll be big enough to be a knight? And Duncan's like, I mean, you'll grow. And Egg just says, you know, people say I'm even small for my age. And Duncan goes, people always said I'm stupid. And then just complete silence as if some story's coming. And which that was funny enough. But the part, like, as it continues and Egg being like, and then what?
He actually he does. He goes.
I know. I love how.
Which was,
but I love how Duncan then gets mad. I'm not here to talk about my problems with you. Like, that's my stuff to deal with. And you're just like, what is happening right now? Yeah, that moment was, and then of course are you Damien Targaryen? No. Well, then get the fuck out of the way.
extremely funny, extremely likable.
Yeah.
Two main characters.
Yeah. Like 100% love this episode. I have zero complaints about it. It's obviously lacking like a bunch of super excitement, but I was thoroughly entertained for all 34 minutes. I never felt like, when are the dragons coming? Like, when is the battle going to happen? It was all quite good. The night battle was good. You noticed that they lit things.
They did.
They had some flames and some other things to light the situation so you could see what was happening.
And you're saying you're not looking for the dragons or anything. We were talking last week about how this is a pretty inessential story so far, and the whole novella is, per my recollection. But that doesn't mean it's not really fun.
It takes place in a period of that we don't know a whole lot about any of it. We just know it's like when the Targaryens are still in charge. We obviously have some like Bible-like history of this period of time, but there's no...
And we get a lot of Easter eggs to that. We name some of the big houses and some of the lore that we have from the rest of the books is there. So if you're an avid book reader, you can pick those things out. But if you have
no real impact,
if you haven't read any of the books, watched any of the TV shows, Game of Thrones included, you could absolutely still enjoy. The end of episode 1, they're about to go sleepies.
Yep.
And they see the shooting star over there, and they say, maybe that's good luck. The end of episode 2, they're about to go sleepies. and Duncan is angrily, confidently eating his chicken, ready to focus in and dehorse some knights.
Here's my thing. My last comment on him at the end is because he says tomorrow they're going to find out essentially what like my training meant or like what all of this means. I don't know if he's 100% saying in that in a way of confidence.
What they hath wrought.
Yes.
Was something like that.
Like in a piece of me thinks he's going, it's not even this is my moment to shine or this is my moment to show him what I'm made of. It's almost like this is the moment that will show whether I am, what I think I am, or I'm not. Like, it's almost like it's exam day. Like tomorrow I get tested, but I don't know if I'm going to pass. If that makes sense.
It does. I read it in a way that he was
I did as well.
confident
At first,
that
I was
he is
like,
going to.
I'm gonna show him.
And that's not from the dialogue. That's from his body language as he's saying the things. That's from the actions as he's talking, which I perceive to be very confident. I'm gonna get him. I'm getting in the zone. I'm about to Michael Jordan them. All from the body language because the words did not express that same confidence.
Maybe he's psyching himself up.
Maybe.
Hijack. Season 2, episode 2.
Also on a train.
We watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're still on a train. We've not left the train.
Mm-hmm.
They do leave the train in the episode.
Actually,
several times.
Yeah, that's true.
But they get back on it.
Yeah.
Run us through a little bit of the summary.
Yeah, what happened?
They were on a train a lot.
They were on a train a lot.
Our bicycle guy causes some problems. That's like halfway through the episode, though. We know that the UK, I assume Prime Minister or someone in security or someone in MI5.
Yeah, the Prime Minister is
shows
not
up
coming
to
down,
help,
but we
yeah.
get somebody in authority that comes down to the
Help the German
train dispatch office to get on the horn and talk to him. Idris Elba is asking for a guy who I don't think we know who he is. I don't think we've seen him yet, correct? He's asking for this guy. He says he's in Germany. Go find him. Get him on the horn. Let me talk to him. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to hijack this train.
Do you think it's possible Idris Elba's character's name is Alex?
No, his character's name is Idris, which is short for Idris Elba.
We've talked about this. That's not true. Hijack 1971?
What's today?
2026.
Oh, then no, that's not that.
one,
That's not the right one.
So he's looking for a guy. They're trying to figure out who he is. Sam. His name is Sam.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He's on the train. He's trying to look for this guy. We know that the operator of the train is being a big old baby about this whole situation and keeps freaking out about everything. They're obviously both of them know something about whatever blackmail it is that's making them do this. But they've never met before, I don't think, in this situation. They're kind of in charge. They hide the train for a little bit, and then they say, we're basically going to Snowpiercer this. We're going to keep moving until you give us this guy. The train people come up with the genius idea of a broken train on the track that'll slow them down. And when they get there, Sam says, this is a really bad idea. You need to move that train now or bad things are going to happen. And he attaches a backpack of some sort that he says has some explosives in it. He attaches it to our bicycle dude and he sends him out into the train station, basically. At this point, they've still convinced everyone on the train that they're not in a hijack situation. They don't know what's going on. They just think that they're down in a tunnel. But then a couple of them get texts that there's a security incident going on, and they're starting to piece it together slowly. Not MI5, but whoever's German Secret Service or German SWAT team shows up and messes some stuff up a little bit. Pulls the other train station worker. I don't know if she's an operator or just a security officer. Someone who knows Otto. Otto is the operator that's on the train. And she's trying to figure out what's going on. And for some reason, she's still in the train station. And that causes a little bit of a moment. Not a whole lot happened this episode, though. We know that his wife calls her boyfriend, fiance, police officer and says there's been some weirdness going on. So it seems to me we still haven't figured out 100% what's going on with her. I don't think she's a hostage. I think they sent her somewhere to be safe.
She's out hiking. I kind
Oh,
of
that's right. She's on a vacation.
I got the sense that she needed to go away and
on
think
a
about it a
holiday.
little
You're
while.
right.
So it's not.
Do you think he proposed and she's like thinking about it? That's what this is?
That's more in line with what I got from this second episode.
Yeah.
She's not in hiding. She's not being squirreled away by anybody.
We still haven't seen their son, which I am fully convinced is either kidnapped or in a danger scenario.
I think you're right that not a ton happens, and I do think that's a hallmark of these types of shows because there is only so much space to play with. But we found out a couple of things. Number one, they gave us a little bit more detail about the German subway system. Apparently, there's enough little nooks and crannies that you can hide almost anywhere that you want.
I think that's pretty typical for subway systems of that age, where they're like, here is what's operating. We have our map that we go on, but there's a whole bunch, like there's a ton of tracks in New York that aren't used. Some with records and some without records. So I entirely believe that Berlin has some.
I'm totally fine with that.
You wouldn't get lost for very long, but
their MI5 version tries to do a little trick. It doesn't work. During that scene that you were describing, I keyed in on him continuing to use like a passive voice type of style when he's talking about the harm that would come. Bad things will happen. He didn't say I will kill.
He
a bunch
never
of
says
people.
I'm going to kill someone. He says someone is going to die.
Right. He's always using the passive voice, implying some greater threat to himself that's being leveled by this other group, of course. And they also find out, doesn't the MI5 people, let's just call her Mom because that's what they do in England. Fair. Doesn't Mom find out who Sam is
at the last minute?
Because the person that he's supposed to meet,
meeting up with someone about something we don't know yet, and we don't even know who he's meeting up with.
But this lady, then
he got some sort of connection to some sort of conspiracy, and he was going to blow the lid on something, is my assumption. And then he doesn't make the meeting, obviously, because he's stealing a train. Mm-hmm. And this lady gives away who he is because she does the typical hero thing where they get obsessed with why he's like, no, he wouldn't miss this meeting. I need to figure out what's going on. And then somehow she figures out this hijack thing.
I love this note. The train has been hijacked. Oh, that must be Sam. That's my friend. I know who that is. That's my friend.
Yeah, so that's how they figure it. And which is interesting because she clearly is on Sam's side, this person, but she I guess thinks it's helpful that they know who he is, which I think is a little weird. I think if I was on his side and whatever, and we don't know, obviously, but like if I was your friend and we were supposed to meet up somewhere and you didn't show up and you started hijacking a train, I don't think I would go to them and go,
you wouldn't know that it's me hijacking a train, though. Let's put it in
I wouldn't know.
Context that, let's say it's TV day.
Any train within,
let's say that somebody had robbed Jelly Belly.
Yeah.
Of all their jelly beans.
Yeah.
Taken all the jelly beans away. Now you know it's me.
Yeah. Or a hijacked train.
I haven't hijacked any trains in my whole life.
I know, but I know you want to.
Yeah, I want.
If
of
you
course
miss
I want
TV, And all I get from a text from you is whoop whoop. I know it. I know.
If there's a picture of me and one of those old timey railroad hats,
Just lean it out.
that'll be your big clue.
But I don't think I'm gonna go to the police and go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait before I blow up your spot.
Yeah.
At some point, I might blow up your spot if I thought it would help you, but I'm gonna assess the situation a little bit. Like if the cops show up and they start asking me questions about you in relation to a crime, I might even go as far to be like, he's going to the bathroom right now. He's downstairs.
It's in the potty.
But I'm gonna need a permit if you want to come inside. But
There's a lot of quote unquote innocent people on the train that I've hijacked.
yeah, I don't know any
Fuck
of
them.
them.
Yeah, fuck them. Get them out of here.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I get evidence, like if they show me video of you shooting one of them, I'll be like, yep, that's him. That's the guy. Here's his name. Here's where he lives. Here's his weaknesses.
Here's his weaknesses.
Here's how you can get him. Here's how you can get him on your side. Just compliment. He's telling me he works out. He must work out a lot.
Yep. A little bag of jelly beans with the box propped up with a stick.
Yep.
I love jelly beans.
Just a shoebox. You just climb under a Nike shoebox for a jelly bean.
I love them.
Yeah, good ep. We know that for some reason, they keep this lady around who we keep calling Martha because that's what her name was in Dark. I want to say her name was like Erica or something.
No, it's Martha.
It's a very non-specific, like non-English name, if you will. Jesus. That lady has a very long name.
Not her though.
I'm just clicking on things now.
But yeah, we didn't find out anything more about why Idris is hijacking this. We don't know his goals, motivation. Didn't get much more about his ex-wife, other than she is not necessarily in any immediate danger. We don't think, although
Clara, her name is Clara. That is Clara Berger. That's right.
there's the dramatic tension, because otherwise, why would she be in the episode?
Well, it's funny because they put her in place. She's obviously a new employee. They mentioned it's like her first week. She's on the night shift, though it doesn't seem like the night shift. It's a day shift. But I think she's just nervous about her being her first day there. But they left her in place. That seems weird to me. I feel like I would be like, we're putting a manager on your seat. Because it's not like Sam was like, nope, you stay. You're the one I'm talking to. You're the one I'm dealing with. This is obviously our air traffic control experience. That was her thing. So I think it's interesting to see her character. I do love that. Like, yeah, if we're in Germany, we're going to hire a whole bunch of German actors. Where in the United States, we'd be like, how good is your German accent?
Can you do a German accent for the first 2 episodes and then drop it?
And then drop
is that
it.
possible?
We don't care after that. Just start that way. I need you to learn one phrase in German, and then you'll immediately switch to English from there on out.
How much German do you know?
Very little. Very, very little.
You can recite the whole lyrics to Du Hast by Rammstein.
Yeah.
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 Anything else?
I don't know what any of the words mean, though.
Yeah.
I know a couple of words like Danke. I've been to Germany. I had a lovely time there.
I've been to Germany.
I love that their language is very logical, and that when they need a new word to explain something, it's just 5 other words that explain that thing. I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's those things that crack the top of the egg off, and you can eat a soft-boiled egg out of it. It's literally like a device that cracks the top of the egg or something like that. It's literally what it is, and it's just the 5 words and then they just go boink, 1 word now.
That's that German engineering.
Yeah. If there's not 1 word for it, make 5. Yeah. Let's enjoy more eps.
I'd love that. Stay golden.
Stay going, Pony Boy.